Hi, my name is Matthew Brown. I am the head of advertising at Digital Media Team. I have partnered up with the Fashion Network to talk to you about 5 things that retailers need to know about iOS 14. So iOS 14 was actually announced back in June 2020. Apple actually announced it alongside the iOS 14 app tracking transparency framework, which basically requires all apps to show a discouraging prompt to their users saying, does the user want to allow the app to track data? And it's a basically allow or disallow prompt. If the user clicks disallow, Facebook, Instagram, or any social platform or any app will not be allowed to track information on that particular user, which has been a huge thing for the advertising industry, because advertising really focuses on the data that it gets from their users to be able to give detailed ads. The one thing to know, prior to iOS 14.5, the attribution windows for the main advertising platforms of Facebook, Snapchat, and Pinterest was a 28-day click, 1-day view attribution window. In long story short, if someone clicks an ad, they purchase in that 28-day click or 1-day view attribution window, it would be attributed to that particular click. However, that has now gone down to a 7-day one. So what 7-day click and a 1-day view attribution window, and now there's talks of it going down to a 1-day click, 1-day view attribution window. So for advertisers, we need to try and get that person to purchase in that click to make sure it's attributed back to the ads. So for clients or people in the fashion world who have small average order values, it's not a massive issue because usually that purchase is made within the click. However, the ones that have been really affected are the companies that have a high average order product. So anything over 200, 300 pounds is a lot longer conversion period. And it does require a lot more touch points through the marketing path to purchase. So it's made it extremely hard to sort of track that and track the performance of it all. So because of iOS 14.5, we may see the audiences on Facebook, Snapchat, and Pinterest targeting be a lot smaller than what we're used to. This is because we're not, obviously Apple, Apple, Facebook, or any other company out there are not allowed to track the users who have opted out. Therefore, they don't fall into our targeting audiences. So prior, we used to have a pool of X number of users who have been onto our site, who have viewed the products, who have added things to cart, and then maybe abandoned. Any advertisers knows that these are a really key audience, and we do need to continue to re-engage them, retouch them with multiple marketing points to try and get them to repurchase and convert. However, because of iOS 14.5, if those users have opted out, we can no longer be sure that we can target them. So we need to take that into account and look at sort of different means and different ways of targeting those users. Now you can only track 8 events after iOS 14.5, which an event is if a user goes onto the site, views a product, if they add to cart, if they initiate the checkout or purchase, all these are counted as events. So now, with these restrictions in place, Facebook are only allowed to track 8 of these events. So you need to prioritize these events with Facebook. So there's a little tool within Events Manager within Facebook where it allows you to say to Facebook, look, my most important event I want to attract going forward now is purchase or add to cart, or it could be something else like a lead generation or a view of a particular category on site. You can really choose what these events are, but you need to make sure you can only track 8 worldwide. Because of iOS 14.5 and the limitations around third-party data and like interest groups on Facebook or Pinterest or Snapchat being limited by this new ATT prompt, we need to rely on other data. First-hand data or first-party data is still allowed to be targeted. So this is basically making sure you have a really clean CRM system. Things with, especially things like Shopify, Magento, it's quite easy to do. You can basically you can link up with your Facebook and your business manager and make sure that things like Shopify are sharing the data to Facebook through server to server instead of browser to browser connections, which is, I guess, a little bit more technical and another talking point. But because of this server to link up between your Magento or Shopify to your Facebook, you can make sure that you can retarget these users based on these connections. So what I'd really recommend doing is making sure that you do have your conversion API pixel set up within Facebook, and this can really help combat the negative sides of iOS 14.5 to advertisers. Thank you for listening, and thank you to the Fashion Network for allowing me to share this. If you have any questions or comments, please see the link below that goes to my bio, and you can get in contact with me there. Cheers, bye.